Democracy. For most Russian citizens, it's just another hollow word, used by the ruling elites to gift wrap promises that they never intend to fulfill. After the fall of Savinkov's attempt at a new dictatorship, emotions and with them hopes ran high. As always, when the light at the end of the tunnel is reached, people expect milk and honey. The attention span and patience of the average citizen is rather short, however, and who could blame them? Lofty ideals don't matter when you don't see bread on the table at the end of the day. The reinstitution of the Tsar and promise of a better tomorrow has been overtaken rapidly by discontent of the better tomorrow not materializing today. The country has become embroiled in a political tug of war. While there was brief unity under the common enemy of Savinkov and his thugs, left and right, rich and poor, after a moment of patriotism, have rapidly re-entrenched their positions and demands. Economic programs of land reform have produced winners and losers. Modernization has clashed with traditionality, and thus discontent is spreading. If democracy is the rule of the people, then the people must be qualified to rule. The first step in the democratic education program, the Progressive Literature Club sponsorship, moves to rectify this by creating a politically opinionated, critically thinking middle class, as a bridge between the manual laborer and his natural distrust of political elites, and exactly those elites who had little concept of the hardship their countrymen were facing. More work will be needed as part of the Ligbèche program to eliminate illiteracy to ensure democratic resilience. The main problem, as usual, is that there are many things to do, and all of them are urgent, and all of them need to happen at the same time. We have sponsored the progressive literature. We haven't done the democratic curriculum, which is actually a requirement for the self-defense of democracy. So that's where the line is here, actually. So that still needs to happen, and that actually ends up angering the right wing, because of course they would prefer the working class not to actually be educated. We still have to do the coalition of idealists, for which we need 50% stability, which we can actually achieve if we address the people. But we also need to deal with the foreign policy situation, which becomes more and more pressing. And we need to get out of the Vilnius agreement. At the same time, we have the promises of work, and we do need to finish the Ural program, development of the heartlands, and the Siberian development program as well, in order to prevent the Union to revive the Republic from starting another civil war. And all of that has to happen basically at the same time. This is the problem of politics. It's not that we don't know what to do. It's the problem that there are a lot of things to do, and at the same time, there's only so many things we can do in one moment. Anyway, we have a resistance, obviously, problem now. This is resistance stemming from discontent between industrial or agricultural modernization, in which the Russian lands are in dire need of, and I wonder if anybody gets that reference, actually. And look up "We Are the Bad." Are we the baddies? If you don't, the traditional farmers who have cultural rights and practices that they now feel are disrupted. If you want to make an omelette, eggs need to be broken, and unfortunately that happens. So that's something we need to keep an eye on. We're now with declaring martial law. We've got a resistance target of 41%, which is manageable, provided that we can actually fulfill we're at a 61% efficiency. So all the infantry equipment production right now, we're still training some troops, but all the infantry production right now is focused on that. Because if that spirals out of hand, that becomes a never-ending sink for all manner of problems. And obviously, yes, we do need to start building up the industry urgently for the coming war. Talking about which, in the meantime, we have destroyed a large number of troops in Spain, and how many exactly actually would be interesting to see. So I'd say around about, probably almost over 50,000 troops have either surrendered or 60,000 actually, have surrendered or have been eliminated in the encirclement south of Madrid. And that gives us an opportunity to push north towards Burgos. Now, Zaragoza has openings as well, because the enemy troops are now starting to no longer be able to maintain the front line. But Tarragona is under attack again, so that potentially threatens the main supply arteries. The problem is that the tanks are relatively far away from there, and this is mountainous terrain. So getting there in order to use breakthroughs towards Pamplona and cut off the whole eastern section is going to take a while. We are probably better. In fact, we're not even going to move there. We're probably better just to go through the mountains north of Madrid, which are currently completely undefended, and see if we can. Although breaking through at Salamanca would secure the supply line, so that's probably better, and we can push north towards Valladolid. Alternatively, we would have to reinforce the eastern sector. So we'll leave that potentially to the French. Yeah, can't really trust the French on this one. But friendly troops have the opportunity to break through, and they are already in position. So yeah, we are going to see if we can effect a breakthrough north towards Valladolid and then towards Burgos, and see if we can just simply get them to capitulate without further bloodshed. Because the situation in Central Asia might mean that Russian troops in foreign shores will have to be recalled sooner rather than later. In the north, we are trying to secure the northern lines, and then we will probably once the front line has been consolidated and we can actually start moving all these troops that are currently preoccupied in the area for reinforcing the lines against the American Union state, then we can start pushing south towards Houston, secure San Antonio and other areas. But for now, we are moving north to secure supply positions and basically make sure that they don't fall into enemy hands. That's make our way towards the Canadian border to cut off all these divisions here from supply and collapse all that cauldron. All right, that I think about sums it up. We do have the land reform coming up in 9 days, so there's not an awful lot we can do anymore about this at this time. And obviously, we're trying to get to 250 political power and to rapidly get to early mobilization, because that would enable and give us special powers to really get the industrial reorganization into gear. So the tanks are moving into their positions for now. We have to keep an eye on the situation in the east here, but we will be making moves. The tanks are relatively fast, so we'll be making moves immediately towards Valladolid and see if we can consolidate and break out. Now, Spanish troops are moving in the area, so we are actually encountering resistance, and we have already broken through, so easy there, which means we can potentially secure the lines. We could also break through towards Portugal here, make a quick detour towards Portugal and just cut these troops off. That might actually be a worthy opportunity, just to completely collapse this flank here. But there's so few troops left at this flank. I think we might actually just directly break through. We have secured the railway lines. We don't need to take Salamanca right now. We can just break through towards the north. Yeah, that is the simple option, and then we'll move on towards Burgos and see if we can convince them to capitulate under the crushing numbers that we have available. All right, many American troops here, U.S. troops that are pretty much cut off from supply. So given that they're probably not moving very fast, let's see if we can actually get them encircled. Meanwhile, the 60th Mountain is about to take a vital enemy supply position, and the 8th Guards are moving all the way north towards the Canadian border. Good. And that gets us back to Spain, where we are rapidly expanding our lines here. Okay, Valladolid is actually defended. So we are probably, change of plans. We are probably going to stop the assault here, defend against the enemy counterattack, and see if we can use the momentum to break through east of the river. Troops near Zaragoza are probably going to have to fall back to Tarragona, but if we can get them to capitulate, then that will no longer matter. How far are we away? 6 days. 6 days from the land reform. 58 days from activities of the Union, which is unpleasant, but currently also not avoidable, because this takes 90 days, and once it'll boost that. But I don't have the 40 to spend, so we'll have to take that one on the chin, I believe, and have to deal with some unrest. And in the meantime, quick look at the Americas. Americas look all clear. Enemy troops are retreating, so we'll focus on Spain for now, and we will see if we can manage the breakthrough north. How far is how is it looking? They are 57% towards capitulation, so they might not actually capitulate unless if we take Burgos, which means we may actually try to close the lines here and see that we eliminate the enemy pocket, surround the defenders at Valladolid, and no, they haven't held. No, I thought they held there. I don't think they will hold, but I think we're in a position to quickly collapse this area. We're close to Burgos. We're just going to need to consolidate the lines here, and I think we can even move through Valladolid. Okay, the Macedonian Revolutionary Organization declared war on the Serbian Republic. Now that's great. That means there's another civil war in Serbia. Does Serbia need our assistance with that? They have 2 to 7 divisions, whereas the Serbians have 3 to 11. That's actually a fair. They might potentially need assistance in putting down this uprising. This is a national populist uprising, a counter-revolution basically against Serbia. So let's see if we can assist. Nope, they can't actually take any volunteers, so can't really assist them with that very much. How's the air situation in Spain? We are still supporting the eastern zone, and I think we are a little out of range almost, but we've got green air basically. There are enemy fighters up in the air. How are we? But we are having a decent number of the I-180s now, the more modern fighters. So we're starting to fight back, but we are taking losses here as well. Okay, back to the war on the ground, where they had a bit of a defense in depth that was somewhat surprising. I think an enemy division here has just basically disappeared from view. So in that case, we will close the gap. We're about to take Valladolid, and we will just keep pushing towards the Portuguese border, and then destroy the cut-off enemy troops in the south here, while securing the lines double securing the lines to the north, and then we will move further towards Burgos. And we can recruit another operative. That is good news. I am not sure why we can. Are we? Oh, we are spy master. That is probably why. Although we don't have a faction, so I am not entirely certain. Anyway, not complaining here. We can get Kuznetsov, a commando and an infiltrator, an escape artist, a master interrogator, and a reckless. So the brothers Kuznetsov, although that is a relatively common name, I think I'm going to go for the infiltrator and the commando, especially that he has multiple skills. And where are we currently operating? I think we'll position one here and one on the other side, basically, just to make sure that that the spread is contained as much as possible. So we're looking at that, still at 44%, 46, 42, 47. Yeah, that is definitely, yes, resistance spread is the problem here. So we'll get them on their on their missions and try to root it out. In fact, actually, we might send him there. Yeah. Get him to root it out as much as we possibly can. We don't have anything to spare to upgrade their capabilities right now. And we do need to take a quick peek at the American situation, where I think, we are making rapid movements at this point, and we'll secure the territory towards the Canadian border in the north to slowly collapse the whole northern front in the Americas. In the central region, we have actually now made contact, I believe, with the American Union state, which has expanded a fair bit into US territory, but they still have to deal with the syndicalist invasion that they haven't been able to really contain. And obviously, if we're looking at the lines, yeah, this supply hub is one that we still need to contain. That would be ideal if we can take this position. But right now it's not essential, so we'll simply be moving. We'll simply be moving and securing as much territory as we possibly can in favorable positions. Let's see, we've got supply here. We've got another supply position up there north, so we may as well move north and secure the lines. Secure the lines at the Canadian border, and secure as much territory as we can for the Pacific states. Right, back to Spain. We have 4 more days, and until that's done, Ural program is ongoing, and I believe these constructions are ongoing. This is hampering our construction efforts somewhat because we are having some factories divert factory production diverted into special projects, but it is what it is. All right, rapid breakthrough in Spain. Let's see that we can assist with destroying these positions here, and they have broken through toward Tarragona is open, so that's a pretty big problem. Let's secure as much territory as we possibly can while we have the opportunity here, and while we are enemy troops retreating towards Leon. In that case, we'll go around south because we're rapidly deploying the tanks, so we don't really have an awful lot of firepower available that we can bring to bear. And in the States, I think we are getting close to actually cutting off and encircling enemy troops here. So we'll take as much territory as we possibly can. They are engaged in the mountains, so if we can cut them off, I think that'll assist with that engagement significantly. All right, in Spain in the north, the first mechanized is making its way towards Burgos, the enemy capital, and from there on, we can. It looks like the enemy territory is completely undefended. So, the fall of Burgos. Reports confirm that Cali's temporary capital has been captured by advancing Russian troops after skirmishes in the hilly countryside. Calist forces put up stiff resistance, hoping to delay the enemy forces, but were eventually beaten back. Castilians fleeing north to the Basque coast tearfully described seeing their homeland burning and anarchist soldiers even committing atrocities on their own people. Rumors state King Javier was escorted out with the flow of refugees by Calist militia, but his destination remains unknown. Many hope Calist Spain might continue fighting in the Central Plateau to defend their homes from the crush of the syndicalist invasions. Yeah, where have they moved their... we'll see where they moved their capital. Currently, the government is on the run, and how far are they now? How far are they now towards 69%? Okay. So relatively close, which means we're simply going to drive on towards Bilbao and the coast and secure that position. And in the south, we can assist with the. You move to Bilbao, and the first special can assist with the destruction of further Carlist forces in the south, and that is, garrisons are a problem. That should be relatively rapid. And the other one is simply running free to secure enemy positions. And the enemy capital has been moved to La Coruña, so we might have to drive along the coast and take La Coruña as well. But we'll have to clear out the south first, where the enemy troops here are consolidating. All right, American troops in the Americas are on the move. And we can actually, we're almost at the Canadian border, so we can actually shorten the trips here. We have managed to encircle the enemy divisions, and I think it's probably prudent to just assist with the attack for now. But we will, despite the fact that the second guards are somewhat exhausted from their lengthy trip. We might be able to, given that they're now also encircled, we might be able, and very low on supply, might be able to help eliminate this pocket. But we do need to look at Russia. The new land reforms. With the ZRS land reforms removed, discussion had moved onto the system that should replace it. Unfortunately, this has bogged down into arguments between socialists and old money conservatives, who didn't see much wrong with the ZRS reforms in the first place. We can encourage cooperation and work towards a compromise, though the results will likely be less than stellar, or we can favor one of the sides and not only risk the other's wrath, but add to the overall government's division. Yes, that's what I was talking about in the intro. We obviously now that the immediate fervor of new government and revolution has kind of abated, people start re-entrenching on their vested interest positions. So we can either claim that peasants are the backbone of Russia, which is going to reduce left-wing anger, gives us, okay, let's see, where are we at anger-wise? Left-wing anger is at 2, so that's not too bad. We can do that. 50 political power, much appreciated. That immediately gets us into early mobilization, because our war support is already down to 20% again. Or we can go with the efficiency of agriculture, that to be considered, which is giving us building slots and 100 political power. Honestly, let's have a look. Market 33%. I think all technical considerations aside, Russia is rapidly industrializing. But that risks leaving the farmers behind, and they are at the end still, the backbone of Russia, really. I am somewhat leaning towards this. However, the efficiency of the agriculture must be considered definitely, which would lead to more large-scale industrial farming, which is very much in line with what we're trying to do as well. So I think both would be good decisions here. I don't see a negative of any. However, siding with the farmers might disenfranchise the industrial right, but it is a democracy at the end, and that means that every Russian citizen has their right, and not just those who are wealthy enough to hobnob with the political leadership. So we're not trying to go to a far left socialist republic here. But supporting farmers, individual farmers, over the concerns of big agriculture, I think is the right step here. So peasants are the backbone of Russia. And with that, we have 160 political power, which means we can immediately switch to early mobilization. So big announcement, mobilization is being called, which means the people, we are telling the people the truth here. Conflict is coming in the world, and not just in civil wars and similar effects, but conflicts are coming in the world, and we need to get the country ready for this. So land reform has been completed. Both sides are neutral right now, which I think is a good balance of everything. and we're still working towards the promise of work to get that sorted. So reindustrialization is running, and with that we should have a fair few boosts to industrial construction. So we're starting to see the civilian factories coming up. I have a bit of infrastructure queued up here. I am almost with September. I'm almost tempted to, instead of doing that, to prioritize where do we have some good positions. Yeah, we have some good positions along the lines here where we have relatively good infrastructure. And I think we can prioritize a few more civilian factories first before we start switching in 1938 to a more balanced approach of increase of construction. So we can create probably 3, and maybe 3 here. And we'll prioritize these over infrastructure works, which are important for autarky and for everything. But we also, yes, we need to get an aerodynamics facility going. There's a lot of things that need to happen. But and obviously there's unrest in the area here, which means we have trouble with attacks against infrastructure. How bad is the resistance? 40%, 43, 42. It's not great, but it's just about manageable. So we'll have to see what happens to that to the North Caucasus, really. We don't have the rifles or the command power to spare to make anything happen there. So that'll just have to wait. All right, Spanish situation. That was a big one, but we have that sorted. We have taken Bilbao, and the French tanks have now started moving in as well. So with that, troops in the east should be cut off from their cut off from supply. To be honest, but I think we can simply at this point just move along the coast, take and I don't know if there's anything besides that single division here in near Leon that is actually holding territory there. Friendly troops are moving in everywhere, so I think Spain is going to be overrun very, very rapidly. In the States, we have now joined the Second Guards, but the Americans are still holding pretty strong there. So instead of wasting manpower here, I think that was supposed to go. Let's see. Yeah, we're supposed to go north here. So let's bring the mountaineers north, and these divisions here can work on just clearing the territory of any enemy presence, and we'll see that we can encircle them as much as possible, and just cut off all these divisions here and let the Pacific states do the cleanup. So we'll focus on taking territory in the north. We could potentially try to push all the way towards Minneapolis, but because there isn't an awful lot left apparently from the American states. They have run a bit of a counterattack into the Union state here, by the looks of it. I think this is a good line to draw, and then we can start focusing on the south rather than trying to overextend towards a line of contact with the syndicates for now. So that's what we'll do. In Spain, the Salamanca is about to fall, and the armored division in the north is basically running free at this point. So if the French can deal with the territory is trading places here rapidly. If the French can deal with some of these divisions there, but I think we can actually directly move all the way towards La Coruña and just take out the territory. Friendly tank division, second tank division here is some Carlist troops are encircled here. The east has held, although friendly troops have completely moved off Tarragona. But I think we can also begin moving eastwards, take the airport in the north, and then take Pamplona. And I think with that, the car lists are pretty much finished in the states, just ensuring that that we're getting the territory that we need. In the state, actually, friendly troops have made inroads here in the south towards San Antonio. That's good. So I think we have done our task here, which means we can actually probably then once this position is taken here, then start focusing on destroying the encircled troops in the core and clearing these areas up as well. How far? 112 days. This is the two decisions. Is that the two decisions that are timing out? Oh, we've got an ace pilot promoted. That's the thing. I was wondering where that came from. So Nikolai Komarov has distinguished himself. Good. We have our first ace pilot, I believe. So that's much appreciated. And tanks are simply rushing ahead at this point, straight towards La Coruña. And we are on the other side, clearing territory, expanding the lines, and about to take Pamplona. And I think then the last encircled troops here, we want to avoid as much bloodshed as possible, because after the civil war, you simply have to, well, rebuild the country, and you're not rebuilding the country very well if there's too much resentment. The Ural program has completed, and with that. Many localities rely on the same trades that had since Ivan IV eastwards expansion. So instead of further industrializing the already wealthy cities, high time we brought the riches of the Industrial Revolution to the Urals and beyond. Yes, so we do need to... the Russian Empire is not just this bit here. So it's also that bit over there. So we are working towards making life better for everybody. Which means we are now also, this enables a few decisions. Let's have a look at what these are. This is German capital, economic projects. Okay, that's 120 days and civilian factories. This is oil. More civilian and military factories, 2 military factories, 3 civilian factories. Okay, so there are a fair few economic programs that we can run in order to further build up our industry, which I think is a good one. So that's probably the next sink for political power from here on out, that we get these programs kicked off and start boosting our economy. So let's get the heartland development underway. 35-day focus. And then once that is completed, because then we have 10 days before these two are done, which means we can buffer, I think we can buffer for 10 days, and then we can start the Siberian development program. And then I think from that point on, we can finally start moving in foreign policy territory, since we now have begun mobilization. That is something that's necessary. All right, Spanish situation. Yeah, we're pretty much in the clear here. How far are they from capitulation? I think it's not. I think they are about to. Yeah, they are about to capitulate. I think once we take La Coruña, the war is over. So there's no need for any further bloodshed. And the friendly troops, I agree that there are just minor operations going on here. But other than that, it's pretty much over. And I think similar things will go for the Americans here. So let's ensure that we get all the divisions here encircled as much as possible, and then we are going to work on clearing out the encircled troops. But that gives the Pacific States of America a relatively good basis. So let's see how they're positioned against each other. So that gives them about 40 to 50 factories, very few military factories, however. So that's a bit of a problem. The syndicates have more production, so there's still work to be done here. But in terms of territory held, I think they're in a relatively reasonable position. All right. The Deccan Federation declared war on the Commune. Okay, there's another player in the Indian Civil War. Let's have a look. Of what these guys are about. They used to be called the Princely Federation, if I'm not mistaken. So there might have been an update. But they are friendly. They're definitely they're friendly to the Dominion. But do we want to support them? Not necessarily. I believe they might still be the ones who actually get supported by Japan and Germany. So we'll let this play out, and we'll see. There's no winning for us in India at this point. Okay, La Coruña is actually defended, so we will have to go around it and isolate it while we get the second tank division over to assist. Once that's done, and then we can take La Coruña. So I'm going to actually clear out these front lines here and give both divisions a front line there with the task of taking La Coruña. And that means we are going to surround them, and the other division is well to come in. All right, so that gives them some time. So La Coruña, unfortunately, defended by the 7th Division of 7th Infantry Division, which means that the Carlists are... the Carlists probably will surrender, even if La Coruña stands. So we'll see. Maybe we can end the war without further bloodshed, but otherwise we'll do that. Americans are on the move, and... troops in the Americas are on the move, and I think for the first time in quite a while, we can actually take a breath. Yes, Carlist Spain was annexed. They have capitulated, and with that, Spain is under the control of the syndicalists, for better or worse. The Carlist government has gone into exile, and their main forces have capitulated. Although the struggles are over, no, the fighting doesn't continue elsewhere. We are finished in Spain. It means troops are returning. We'll see again if the Serbians. No, they don't need assistance apparently in the localized conflict. So that somewhat reduces the amount of conflicts that we are involved in. There's obviously the civil war in China going on, and the big one in India, where there are really no winners for us. We don't want to strengthen the international any further. We don't really see a future of collaborating with the old Entente, and we don't see a point in strengthening troops that are sympathetic to Germany and the Reichspakt. So we'll concentrate on what's left in the Americas for now. The Spanish Civil War is finally over, and it seems that the Spanish Socialist Republic has emerged triumphant. Much of the countryside lies in ruins, and order has not completely been restored, but the Spanish government announced that the old feudal order had finally been put to rest, and that the people of Spain would now benefit from an orderly transition to a syndicalist regime. Massive crowds gathered in Barcelona to hail the returning militias and to offer a prayer that the new peace will turn into a permanent one. Well, permanent until we are getting into a conflict with the Reichspakt. Okay, we are redeploying the mountaineers from the eastern flank, which at this point can be taken over by the Pacific states. We're redeploying them to assist dealing with these encircled U.S. troops here, and then while the rest is still busy controlling territory and ensuring that the civilian population is up to date of who is running the place at this point. I am somewhat curious, however, what the resistance situation is. We're at 30%. The targets are getting reduced, however, and that should probably be due to garrison fulfillment. So let's have a quick look at that. 70%. So we are moving up in terms of garrison fulfillment, which is good because that means we're getting it under control and it's not spiraling out of control, despite the fact that it is costing us. We still need almost 5,000 rifles for garrison. but that's just something that we need to deal with. How is the flamethrower tank coming along? So we had the first test was inconclusive, but we actually now have a promising prototype. So in September 15, 1937, we created the first prototype flamethrower tank, which is great. And that is we're getting there. So the thinking is that we will manage to complete this project sooner rather than later, and then start building up our armored forces a little bit more. We're building up some convoys for overseas trade, but the Russian Navy in general does not have an awful lot. Of things to do. We do have a few submarines, so they can move to Murmansk, and then I think once we have we're still repairing a few there. Then we can. We have from there the potential of breaking out into potentially the Atlantic. We'll see if we can disrupt enemy supply anywhere. The 60th Mountain Division has arrived to assist with clearing out enemy troops, and a large number of Allied troops here are actually engaged in this, or tied down by these encircled troops. So it's about time that we start assisting, but they have just disembarked from there and free up these troops so they can start moving out. They've just disembarked from the trains, so they do need a moment to get everything sorted out. We still got the 8th Guards clearing out territory. So let's secure everything here, and we've got the 2nd Guards moving in to assist as well, although I think they can actually be on this line already and begin planning the offenses. The volunteers from Spain have returned to Petrograd with great honors. So we have the wherever they got assigned to, Asian theater, of course. We're going to have to remove these all, but we've got the 2 divisions back, and as soon as it is possible, we will start awarding some medals to these 2 very powerful divisions, and to their great heroic exploits. So let's get the Mountaineers into the fray, and I think with the power of the 60th Mountain, we should be able to. These are completely starved. We should be able to clear out the remaining American defenders, get them to surrender. And the Fengtian government has declared war on the Qing government. So China, yet another fight in China. Now Fengtian is a close ally of Japan. So that's actually something we might have a bit of an interest in to balance things out. So I think in that regard, we might assist the Qing government, which is considered the legal government in China, against the Fengtian incursion, lest the Imperial Japanese ambitions in the north are expanding territory and becoming a potential flashpoint in future wars. So let's support the Qing government against the Fengtian incursion and do what we can to assist. Right, we will be sending the Qing volunteers with 2 armored divisions and 1 mountain division under General Vasilevsky, who does have a bit of a knack for armored command and who needs the experience in the field. So we'll send him over, and then we will be getting engaged against the Fengtian government in the north, who are probably going to be supported by Japan. So that's another flashpoint. But more importantly, let's focus back on the states. There are things that need to be done. The activity of the Union is going to get through, unfortunately, which is going to cost me 3% stability, and is going to get me some peasant marches, which is all not very good, but probably increase the intensity of the anti-monarchist resistance. But we are getting reasonably close to being able to dealing with this once and for all. So once we are through, in fact, once we are, do we actually still need to complete this? Well, we can also, we're actually at 48% stability. So what we could do instead, because we could do the coalition of idealists, that takes 42 days. That's still not gonna cut it. But we just need 2% more stability. So we can probably find, we could find base stability here. So what we could do, if this doesn't get completed within 93 days, then we are also losing out on a lot of things. All right, let's complete the promise of work. We should be standing by our promises, and then we can probably finish off with the coalition of idealists and finally get the domestic politics under control. In the meantime, we are clearing out the Americans in the mountains, and it is the 5th Jili Fengtian War. Yep. Japan and Germany still loom large over the region. Land of the Rising Sun greedily eyes Germany's possessions in the Pacific, and the victor of the wars no doubt have a part to play in the conflict as well. Yes, indeed. So Japan might actually be another player in a potential future conflict against Germany East Asia. So the resources in Germany East Asia are going to become a massive factor for whoever controls these, and we will see how that all works out in the end. But for now, back to the Americas, where we are getting ready to, I think we are getting ready to clear out the last remaining positions. There are just a few divisions here that have been encircled, and the local militia is already ongoing. Meanwhile, pushes are made along the front lines, and I can actually clear that up for myself here. These lines are not interesting anymore. Pushes are being made to expand further east, and also troops are moving towards San Antonio. So the Pacific states are definitely making progress here, and we can now begin. These troops should be completely... Let's do some probing attacks here. No, these troops are completely entrenched, and we're not going to get anywhere on that position. In that case, let's relocate towards the center and see if we can cut them off there. And then we're going to get the 2nd Division to join as well, and the Mountaineers will join once the last remaining American troops here are destroyed, which isn't going to take an awful lot longer. One thing we can do, we do have the army experience. We can slightly improve the firepower. So let's. This is not ideal because troops are actively engaged, but let's add support artillery to the light tank divisions. And I'm not going to improve the Mountaineers much at this point. They could do with a line artillery, but that's quite pricey. So we'll leave that out for now. But we do eventually give some additional firepower to the armored divisions, which currently are not actually actively engaged. So that's a good thing. All right, almost completed the destruction of. So General Ungen-Sternberg is almost done with the destruction of American resistance in the central Colorado mountains, and meanwhile friendly troops are rapidly expanding eastwards. And it's not going to be too long until we have contact with the combined syndicates in the east, and then we'll see what the lines are looking like. War has broken out in Argentina. Yeah, actually, how's the Peru-Bolivian Confederation doing? They're still not finished with Ecuador, which is quite surprising given that Ecuador had actually relatively little. But civil war in Argentina. So the Patagonian Workers' Front, which is obviously a syndicalist group, is attacking Argentina. Now, Argentina has big economic impact for the Reichspakt, and especially for Germany. At the same time, do we want to have another syndicalist state in South America? As we are starting to, so we're looking at the groups here, we're starting to significantly increase the presence of radical leftist world revolutionaries around the world. So as tempting as it is to get Argentina to fall and to position them against Germany, it is fraught with risk. So it would be much more ideal if one of the other states was going to go up against Argentina, somebody we could support. So let's see what they're doing against the Patagonian Workers' Front, and if any of the other surrounding states is going to join before we bring in our own support. And here we are. I think actually probably better equipped to destroy these two militias here that have been encircled. So let's see if we can get. They should be relatively low on supply. Let's see if we can get that cleared out. And the mountaineers are already almost done in the center. Meanwhile, in South America, the Argentinian-Chilean war. Okay, that's more like it. Tension have been running high between the two regional powers for years now, as the ideological differences drove the nations further and further apart. Support by Chile for the FOP in Patagonia, aha, that's where from, and the incapacity of Argentina to quell the rebellion have finally come to blows, as a joint offensive by the Argentinian army and Armada was met with heavy resistance on the Rio Negro, with Chilean forces opening fire on the advancing Argentinian troops. That is worrying indeed, but so Chile, unfortunately, also is syndicalist. So while we support the removal of Argentina as a major trading hub with the Germany and the Reichspakt, we're also wary of increased syndicalist presence in the tip of South America. We'll see. We're still not going to take sides. We will see if anybody else joins this war. That is more on our support. We are about to clear out the last remaining resistance in North America, and so I think that is a good position to end the episode. We have a few decisions that once we reach 50 political power, that we can start kicking off. We're almost at 25% war support, so we might actually even be able to go up to partial mobilization from early, which would remove another 10% construction, but also reduce the amount of political power that we're gaining every day. So eventually this will come, but I think closer to when we're actually going to war. We are at 60 civilian factories, which is still at least of what we know, which is still significantly, like probably about half of what the Germans are having. And we have 33 military factories, which is about half of Germany. So our economy is about half the size of Germany. We do need to rapidly increase the size of the economy to get ready for an eventual conflict. Resistance targets are being pushed down by martial law and by increasing efficiency of the garrisons in place. We will see how that whole situation plays out. So far, Karzak's unrests are at 1, and we will see. We will see how the whole conflict plays out in the end. But that is to come in the next episode. One civil war ended, 3 more popping up. So we'll continue the fight in North America, potentially get involved in South America, and we're definitely getting involved in Southeast Asia, because while we are not yet sure whose side Japan is going to be on, there's only one side that is on the side of the Russian Empire, and that is the Russian Empire.